Okay, not much. Alright. Brian, I believe you'd like to know if they have names. If I'm mistaken, Alice, please do correct me. But no, they don't have names as far as I know. When do they name them? It varies depending on every lodge. Normally, some areas don't name them at all. Some areas just, they'll be part of a pride. If they're females, and if they're the girls stay around, they'll be part of the Styx pride. Not necessarily will they have a name. And in some other areas, for example, if it's males and they form a coalition and eventually they survive into adulthood, then sometimes that's when people like naming them once they've mated, let's say, into the real world. So I don't think these cubs are going to be named anytime soon. A lot of the times people just don't like naming them just in case they jinx them, because they want to one of the ranger superstitions is that if you name a cub before it gets into adulthood, it might not make it. It's got absolutely no scientific value and it's, just one of those things that gets said around here. But having said that, I mean, I don't think it necessarily affects them or gives them a better or a worse chance. But these ones over here, still not named. They're just, the Styx cubs for the time being. And I'm sure for the next few months, that's exactly how we're going to know them as, if we do get to see them again, which I'm excited that we are, because they're so tiny and fluffy and pretty. I would say maybe about half the size of the Nkuhumas. Nikki, the ears, I know, aren't they just super cute? So small, and it's almost like their black is still starting to pop by. I think they're all pretty tired and sleepy. They're all just warming up right nicely next to their mothers, and it's just a very, very precious setting. I mean, look at that. Isn't that kind of like the pure proof of happiness? It's got its mom, it's eaten, it's warm. I'm pretty sure this is lion cub heaven. So sweet. So sweet. I am sure, however, that as the sun starts going up, likely they're going to move a bit further into the drainage line, or just underneath the bushes of the tree where we almost saw that other lioness, just because where they are, there's no big tree. So they're not going to have a lot of shade throughout the day. So while the cubs might be able to get away with a bit of shade... Oh, look at that! Oh my goodness. Isn't that just gorgeous? Yeah, the Styx cubs are... I think the Nkuhumas, to be quite honest, are some of the best looking cubs I have ever seen. I really don't know how that pride has managed. It's just, proof that those girls are doing a stunning job. But these little ones, they're looking quite healthy as well. Don't get me wrong. They're still smaller and they're not maybe as, precious as the Nkuhuma ones. But from what I can see from here, they all look quite healthy. Oh, there's a fourth cub there at the back, another tiny one. And they all seem to be doing just fine. So I think we've also been spoiled with the Nkuhumas, but these guys, they seem to be fine. Maybe, they just need better genetics. Look at that. Look how precious they are. Tristed, sleepy cat with full bellies indeed. I think that is the ultimate happiness for a lion, having a full belly and then being able just to sleep the day away. Which is exactly what I think these cubs are gonna do. Oh, hello. You see one of the bigger ones at the back? Big ears, a lot bigger than this tiny little heads that we're looking at. I think the one at the back is probably half the size of the Nkuhumas, and then the tiny ones that we're looking at, I mean, they're just a few months old. Maybe I would say 3-4 months old, so they're still quite small. Guys, I want to try and see before the other vehicle comes around if we can maybe take the spot where Dylan was, just to see if maybe we can have a bit of a more clear view of this lions. So just bear with me for 1 second. We're gonna try to move around, see if maybe we can find a better view. I don't know if actually from here it'll even be better. I think while we try to find a better spot for you guys, why don't we go back to Taylor and see how she's doing?
Well, we've been attempting to give Rexon a hand with trying to find out where this young leopard has gone, but sadly we're not doing too well this morning. I haven't seen any leopard tracks whatsoever, so I think what we're going to do is Rexon had the tracks, so he knows exactly where they are. We've just done the fire break past the quarry. Now we're on Weaver's Nest. So we'll check up here. I know we've all driven this road about 100 times today, but you never know. And if we don't come right here, then what we will do is we'll move back to the area where we had seen those elephants. And I think by now that should have given them enough time to move through that block, and perhaps they'll pop out in the Mulwati, maybe going sort of toward, it actually depends which way they decide to change direction, but if they can pop out at Chele Pan, that would be quite wonderful because it's relatively open there. We'll have an opportunity to have a look at how big the herd really is. So that, I think, is going to be our plan, because everything else seems to be hiding away from me. But at least you've got to see lions with Brent, of course, a beautiful big male, and then Styx Pride, and it's nice to see those little cubs growing up, and I'm sure Ali was excited to see them too. So wonderful. We'll just take a break from cats today, hey Craig? We'll be alright. We could see one. I wouldn't mind seeing Shongile. It would be nice. I'd love to see how much she's grown. She's been so scarce. I can't even remember when last I saw Shongile. I know I saw Hosanna very briefly. No, I speak utter nonsense. I saw him twice on my last cycle. We actually had a nice sighting of him when he was in the tree with that impala kill. That was quite cool, just right up near Vuyatela Lodge. So that was really nice, and he's looking gorgeous, and I'm sure he's probably doubled in size since I last saw him as well. He just seems to grow and grow and grow and grow and doesn't stop. Let's see what else we've got. Craig, what do you think? Do you think we should go back towards Treehouse Dam quickly and have a look? Oh, not really. Okay, let's check the southern road here, and this one leads us back towards Treehouse Dam. I couldn't imagine though if Shongile was out and about in the area. I don't know if she would be out in the open, because again, there's lion tracks going up and down this road. There's been a number of different leopard tracks moving property to, and for a young girl like that, it's quite a big, bad, dangerous world out here at the moment. She's still learning about lions and hyenas, and she knows, I think she knows hyenas as well. She doesn't want to find herself sort of crossing paths with a Birmingham boy or even any one of the Nkuhuma lionesses. She needs to just be a little bit careful. So I think that's why she sort of just slinks off and hides away, which is not a bad tactic. We obviously want her to live for as long as possible and eventually take over her mother's legacy as the queen. She's just our little princess for now. Let's hope. We're just coming up now to Twin Dams, Treehouse Dam. There's some antelope coming down. Just checking these trees, have a quick scan. See if we can't see little Shongile. It would be nice to see. I really hope so. Trust me, I've put all the positive vibes out into the world, asking to please show us our little dear friend. Let's have a look up top here. It's beautiful. I've even taken my gloves off now. It's warming up lovely. Here we go. There we go. We haven't got much at the dam this morning. There's just a couple of birds, 2 Egyptian geese paddling out to the middle of the water. They must be a little bit frightened of us. Ali has finally got a decent view of those lions not lying down in the grass.
Yes, we have managed to find the lions from a bit of a different spot and just get a clear view of this pretty little face. Seems, however, like the female sustained some sort of an injury. I don't think it's anything to worry about, just one of those hunting things and kind of thing that happens. You see there on her back, there seems to be some blood dripping from her, but like I said, I don't think it's anything too bad. It just looks like something superficial. And from this side, I'm not even 100% sure it actually belongs to her. Hello, little ones. So you see, there's one that's got a very full belly. Pretty full. Marissa, you'd like to know how many cubs in total? I've counted 4 small ones and then 1 bigger one. There used to be 2, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not 100% sure if the other bigger one, if I just can't see him because of the grass or if he's still around. As you can see, it's very hard to tell from here, and I can't unfortunately move anywhere else because there are a lot of branches in between us and the cubs, and I don't want to get too close to them because out of respect, I think they also deserve a bit of space, and they're just getting used to the vehicle, so we just want to show them as well that there's nothing to fear, and that when we come around, we're just gonna be here, make some noise, and then just pretty much leave them be. Very full bellies. Violet, you're wondering what animal would make a lion feel vulnerable or scared. Well, there are a couple of things around. Elephants, if elephants were to come around, they would definitely not feel that confident, not because the elephant, would hunt them down, but just because it's a very big animal, it could potentially kill them, and elephants a lot of the times are not tolerant of lions being around, so they tend to chase them away. Another big problem for them is other lions, especially for this pride that they've got the younger cubs. They are particularly wary of other female prides because other female prides will try and maybe come and kill their cubs, and of other males unknown to the area. So, as we believe these cubs were sired, or their fathers are the Birmingham boys, so they allow the Birmingham boys to come around if the Birminghams have pretty much accepted them as their offspring, and they won't give them any trouble, and they'll protect them and so on. But if another male were to come into the area, males that they don't know, then definitely that will make them feel very vulnerable, the females and the cubs. And likely if the females heard them roaring or caught their scent, then they would move the cubs into another area, a safer area, just away from everything else, just to make sure that they don't get killed or anything. And then, in terms of, for example, if the females were to leave the cubs on their own when they're very small, anything from like a baboon, leopard, hyenas, anything could try and, get to them. But I think once they are adults, the things that they really fear the most are other lions, and of course, we're all humans. Because we have a knack for killing pretty much everything for any reason. So, this point in time, I think those would probably be the ones. Dr. Hyena, you'd like to know how many hyenas it would take for to steal a kill from a pride of lions. It depends on how brave the hyenas are and how many lions. It's one of those things that, there is no set rule. I have seen 2 hyenas try to steal a kill from 1 lioness, and they've successfully managed. I have seen, 4 lionesses trying to take a kill, 4 hyenas trying to take a kill from a lioness, and they haven't managed to do that. So I think it depends on every single situation, how big the kill is, and what, how many lions there are. But having said that, when we used to work at Simbambili, there was a very big clan of hyenas over there. I think at one point it was over 40 of them. And Tristan's got this fantastic video of, I think it's maybe about 15 hyenas chasing, I think it was even the Nkuhumas by then, and just chase them all and stole, I think it was a buffalo carcass. This was about maybe 2 years ago, and all of the lions ended up in trees, the hyenas at the bottom waiting for them. So I would say it depends on every occasion. So you'll have maybe very strong hyena that feels empowered, and if it's 1-to-1 type of thing, it's maybe a hyena versus a leopard. Often the hyenas will just take the kill from the leopard. In this case, I reckon if hyenas were to come around, the lionesses will be very aggressive, very protective, not only of their kill, but also of their young cubs, because clearly they don't want any other predators coming to them. I don't think, however, they're too bothered by life right now. there's the one little fatty cub right next to the lug with a very, very big belly. Tran, how they build up their muscles? Well, just pure constant exercise and, you know, a healthy diet. So lions are often moving around, so they just all the walking that they do, sometimes during the night, like this morning, we've seen their tracks walking pretty much all over the reserve, and I wouldn't be surprised if they've managed to cover, while going up and down, more than 10 k's in just a few hours. And in some areas they can cover even more. So, you know, just that constant exercise and then just looking for food and eating pretty much meat, which is what they eat, and not having any other things. That's, you know, protein builds muscle and exercise. So the more they eat, the healthier they are, the more muscle they can build up, and then the healthier they'll become. The more muscle they'll have. It's almost like, you know, this constant circle. They'll need to get one in order to get to the next one. We've got one of the other lionesses sitting right next to us, and I wonder if she's going to get up and go to the cubs. Seems like she's just busy grooming herself now. Yeah, no, I don't think we can, and we can't go any further, but I'm sure at one point... She's a smart one. I wouldn't be surprised if the rest of the pride at one point came and sat down just opposite of us, because it seems like this is where the shade's going to be the whole day. It's quite a nice morning. Yeah, look at that full belly. I think this cub really made a run for it as soon as the females brought down that waterbuck. Very, very full belly. Probably a lot fuller than the smaller cubs, because you see, when lions get to a kill, it's not a sharing is caring type of environment. It's pretty much each man for itself. So they all try to eat as much as they can just to make sure that they're as healthy as they can be. So there's not a lot of happy family sharing. It's always like, ah, I want that piece, give it to me. So sweet. Wouldn't even think that they're gonna become such big, fierce creatures when they're sleeping like that. Alright, we are gonna head to Taylor, who seems to have a very, very cool thing to show you guys.
Oh, look at that! Now that is a bus, a beast, a dinosaur, a gargantuan predator of the deep. Well, not so deep this year with the lack of rain we've had, but the river has risen over the last few days, and that is one of the big male crocodiles that resides at the crossings. Now, I thought it was the biggest one. I'm not sure if it is. Oh, hello, yellow-billed stork. Oh, and look at that, there's a little crocodile. Oh, he's so cute in comparison. Do you see him, Dove? Oh no, the car's in the way. Oh dear, I'll have to move shortly. But yeah, we've got quite a few crocs. It was a chilly morning this morning, and they're out basking. And generally you can tell the difference between a male and female based on size. So the big male crocodiles are much bigger and thicker in the neck, and they tend to be quite territorial in the Mara River. So what happens is they will be making sure that no other male crocodile gets this prime spot where the wildebeest like to commit suicide. And also, you can see he's surrounded by some, well, I suppose they're lovely and luscious if you're a crocodile, but some lasses. And so this prime territory will have good breeding females as well as ample supply of food. Now, some of these crocodiles are in excess of 4 meters, and they are very big beasts. Now, remember, hashtag Safari Live if you've got any questions for us. Now, the other interesting thing about this part of the world, and why I'm gazing about while you are looking at those crocodiles, is this is core Paradise Pride territory. And of course, the musketeers, Scar, Siko, Hunter, and Morani, occupy both sides of the river here. And now I've often seen them on both sides, and they like to sleep under these croton bushes that are all around us. So We always check in every little spot of shade around here to make sure there isn't a lovely lion lying, and we can have the apex predator of land and the apex predator of the water in Africa, or inland Africa at least, in the same area. Now, can you hear some hippos around as well? Now, let us show you the tiny little croc. Now, well, let's get him on camera first, then I can tell you more about him. Weavy's wondering, what do crocodiles eat in the Mara? Well, they actually, or the smaller crocs will eat a lot of fish. So Dave's just leaving the camera there so we can try get the little guy into picture. We also don't want to go for a swim. Have we got him? A little bit more? A little bit more. Oh dear. Okay, wait, let me try something here quickly. What if I do that, Dave? Not. Okay, I've got one more trick up my sleeve. Let me just get out of here. Now, the crocodiles in the Mara, the smaller ones and that will eat fish and birds and whatever they might come across. But those really big beasts normally will only feed during the migration, and they'll be able to sustain themselves for almost 6 or 7 months. Dave, are we winning?
No, he's upstairs by the bush on the car.
Oh, goodness gracious me. I'm trying to think. Let me go round. It's such a cute little crocodile. We're trying our best to show him to you. So they will feed off the zebra, the Thompson's gazelle, and the wildebeest when the migration arrives. I think this is the one, Dave. No! Oh dear. I don't know what else I can do unless we try straight on ahead. There? No! That's about our last chance. We got him! There! Yay! Hello, little one. Be careful, that big one will eat you. Now, sorry about the slight obscure from the vehicle, but that's the only way we can get this croc in shot. Now, David, who's in Napa, was wondering, where is the season for baby crocodiles? Well, it depends on where you are in Africa. I'm not 100% sure of the season here, but the breeding season in most parts of Africa, it varies month to month due to heat and area. Normally at sort of the end of October, November, or October, the males will start getting very aggressive and chasing off other males from areas. But and then normally, well, sorry, a bit earlier than that actually. September is when that normally happens, and then mating, October, laying then happens sort of in the summer months, January or December, January, and then they hatch a couple of months later than that. But now that one, even though it is tiny, is probably about 2 or 3 years old. So they do grow quite slowly in the wild, and especially probably up here because it's quite cold. They will grow slower. So at really warmer temperatures, crocodiles tend to grow faster, and at colder temperatures they grow a bit slower. Now, one of the fascinating things about crocodiles is that the temperature that the eggs are kept at control the sex ratio of the crocodiles. So the warmer temperature will have a nest that produces almost all males, and a slightly cooler temperature produces all females. Now, so generally the eggs on top will become males, and the eggs lower down will become females. And it all just depends on where and whether the bushes where the nest is in shade or in full sun. So it is actually quite fascinating how just the temperature can determine the sex of the animals. Now, on the other side of the river, we have impala, buffalo, topi. There we go. There's some buffalo. Lovely little herd. There's the topi being the policeman on top of his termite mound. And then the impala a little bit further to the right. There the impala are. Oh, look at those big horns. Oh, massive. Now, let's just slide back slightly so Dave can get the beastie crocodiles again. How's that, Dave?
Yeah, that's good.
Now, those big crocodiles there could easily be 90 to 100 years old, and once they attain that massive size, they will stay in a relatively small stretch of river. Now, that is quite unique to ecosystems like the Mara, where you have this massive influx of food seasonally, and in other parts of Africa they will be quite territorial but over a much bigger area. So here in the Mara they are able to sort of really dominate a small section of the river for the majority of their sort of massive lives once they're big enough. Okay, well, we're going to keep moving, see if we can find Scar and the Paradise Pride. While we do that, let's go see what Taylor's up to.
Bye-bye, sighting. Okay, let's go. It's finished. Oh, hello everybody. We did have some Kudu and some Waterbuck drinking at Treehouse Dam, but they have decided to move off into the thicket. Let's see what else we're going to find. We did sit at Treehouse Dam actually for quite a while, hoping that Shongile was going to pop out, as there was a nice group of antelope that came down to drink, but unfortunately that did not happen. Is this a track? Who's walking here? Let me just see which animal has left some footprints in the ground. I don't know. Maybe it was the leopard tracks, but they were half driven over. It did actually look very difficult to tell though. Okay, well, I don't know if we're going to stick around here for too much longer now, because we really did. We're patient, we're waiting, we're listening out to see if we could hear any impala or kudu or even the go-away birds alarming. We didn't get anything like that. So she could be in Little Gowrie. I didn't see any tracks crossing over, but again, Gowrie Main is such a busy road that it only takes 1 or 2 cars to completely flatten those tracks. So I think we will go back to the area where we had those elephants, and hopefully we'll see the big grey things come out of the bushes. Ali is still sitting with the Styx Pride. It seems as though she's having an absolute ball there. I hope she's getting some good pictures, and I hope that you are all getting some good screenshots too.
We have managed to move around just to be able to have a look at that other lioness that we couldn't see earlier on because of the way we were parked, and she seems to be the only active one. She's busy grooming herself while the rest of the pride sleep away. We did manage to see the other older cubs, so definitely now I've lost count. How many did we see? 3 young ones, 4 young ones, and 2 older ones? I think that was the count. Worst case scenario, we'll just have another look. But the other older cub that I thought was missing was still definitely there, just sleeping underneath a lot of grass. Oh, we can hear lions. There's another male that's calling. It seems to be coming from Chitwa Dam side. I know one of the Birmingham boys was found there earlier on, but I'm not too sure if they eventually moved into a drainage and the guys couldn't follow him anymore. But they've definitely been calling, and that's when she stopped and she looked up and she started listening. But clearly nothing to be really worried about, as she very likely just recognized who it was that was calling. Interesting. Seems like the lions had a very entertaining night last night. Reggie, the distance to keep between a vehicle and lions pretty much depends on the lion. A lot of the times, if there are normally like to keep maybe a few meters between us, but I've had them pretty much sleeping on the shade of a vehicle, and that's because they approach the vehicle and they feel comfortable. So I always kind of give them the choice that you are close by and they'll let you know how close is close. So if they carry on doing whatever it is that you were doing or that they were doing and they don't look up to you, then you know that they're, you're in their comfort zone. You're not in their comfort zone, actually, and they're feeling quite happy. So it depends on every single occasion and what they've got. Where we were earlier on, if you were watching earlier, we didn't want to get too much closer to where the kill was, because I think that would have been a bit too close for comfort for the females, because then we would have been pretty much on top of their kill with the cubs there. So rather, there are certain situations where you've just got to read what's happening and what's going on. In the case of lions with cubs and a kill, you don't really want to be parked right on top of them. And I also feel like it's not right just to be so close to the animals. You've got to give them a bit of a breathing space, so that if they don't want you that close, they'll let you know by just walking away in some other direction. But I think we are very lucky with the lions in the Sabi Sand. They pretty much learn to ignore the vehicles since they're cubs. So they're quite tolerant with us being at a fair distance. So I think we are maybe about 3 meters from this particular lioness, and we're just behind her and she hasn't really looked at us once. So I'm pretty sure she's quite happy where she is. Like I said, if it were lions hunting on the other side, like yesterday morning when we had them hunting buffalo, then there you definitely want to keep a much bigger distance between you and them, just because buffaloes are very big animals and sometimes they can run in every direction, and the last thing you want is one of these animals to actually come straight to you. Oh, hello. Yeah, going back to the rest of the pride. Let's just go forward. I think I have a strong feeling that this is the mom of the older cubs. Carrying on, carrying on. Nikki, you'd like to know which baby animal out here has the best childhood? Stuff to say, hey? I think that lions have a very good childhood. I'm just gonna stop here just to give her some space if she wants to go to the kill. I think pretty much all of them do. If you think about it, they all just get food brought to them and they get to play around, and they have other siblings. It's just when the childhood is finished, some of them are worse than others. I think being a lion is a very tough life. It's not easy once they have to start making things happen for themselves. Oh, okay, that was it. You just wanted some company. I think maybe baby hippos have a very good life because they get to play in the water all the time and, just come in and out. The mothers protect them, so I don't know. I think maybe hippos, I love being in the water and swimming, so I think that's maybe why I think probably the hippos have the best time around. Sorry, I just thought I heard the lion roaring again. But it seems he's gone quiet now. Hello girl, this is the one that we're looking at, the one that seems to have that injury on her back. And well, clearly hunting and antelopes have very big horns and, they can kick quite hard. So it'll happen every now and again that they'll get a few scars or bumps or bruises just, by trying to survive. But I don't think it's anything to worry about. Still looking quite good. Hello girl. This is a very funny, typical lion face when they're here, but they're not quite here because they want to fall asleep, but they don't really want to. It's almost like they're fighting this endless sleepy battle. Wonder. I'm just gonna try and going slightly forward. See if maybe we can. Madison, Ellies have the best childhood. I think so. I don't know if the best, but probably one of the best. You know, they have very big mothers that look after them. Ah, there's a third lion there. Hello, we hadn't seen you. Just in front of us. I actually, for a second there, thought it was a warthog. Because I could just see a very dark thing. Ah, well, hello. We didn't know you were there. It is amazing. Like, when we first got here, we were parked on the other side. Ah, here's another female maybe going to her. Okay. Look, that's the wound over there that she's got. I don't think she's looking all that bad. She must clearly be the mother of the little ones, because I can see very big suckle marks on her. And I'm sure she's just heading towards that other female. I'm gonna let the lions play it out. I think she's just gonna maybe go towards her sister. And alright, let's just rather stay with her for a little longer, see what she does. But you see, there just seems to be a bit of a puncture wound in there. I don't think it's anything that a lion needs to particularly worry about. She seems to be in quite fair condition. I'm sure she... Let's just see what this lioness does, and if she goes and says hello to the other one there, because I wonder if these two start moving around, if the rest of the cubs... Ah, look at her full belly moving from side to side. Indeed, there's a third one going, moving around. It is quite funny, because now she's quite alert. I'm sure that it's part of the same pride, but she's just not 100% sure. See, very typical lion. The ones... See, they've just both stopped close to where that third lioness was. Oh, and we have a naughty cub that wants to follow the mothers. And there comes... Oh, look how tiny they are. In a kill, lion cubs tend to be with their mothers. It depends. If they're females, very likely they're gonna stay in the pride that they were born in, so they're not gonna move off and go somewhere else. But the life for the boys is a bit tougher. So for the boys, when they're about maybe 2 years old or so, depending on different prides and areas and everything else, likely they'll be pushed away from their pride by the mothers, and then they'll have to go and pretty much make it on their own. Those are very determined cubs, you know, trampling the grass and moving around. Ah, there goes the third cub going onto them. Fourth cub. Ow! Ow! That's how they go looking for family. There's a fifth cub coming around, one of the older ones. Oh, precious are having a bit of a panic attack because they can't see the mothers in the tall grass. Oh, these bundles of fluff. I can hear the lions contact calling. I'm sure there's I don't think this cub could have fit any more meat in its stomach. It looks positively uncomfortable. I wonder what's got them all up. I don't think it can even walk. I mean, look at that belly. There's a mother there waiting for the last one. What you looking at? Lauren from Illinois, welcome. You'd like to know how old the lions in this pride are. I'm not too sure, to be quite honest. This is not a pride that I've seen often, so if I'm just gonna ask for some help for our very long time viewers or anyone else that's got a bit of an idea of how old these are, please just let us know using the hashtag #SafariLive. My guess is that they're between 8 and 10 years old, but they could be slightly older. I'm not 100% sure. So if anybody wants to just let us know how old they are, we'll be happy to share it and happy to know just how old they are. I wonder if they're moving away because they heard this male lion roaring and they're just a bit wary. No? Are we just stopping there for the day? Is that what's happening? See, there seems to be, they're not really stressed, or there's something that's, you know, that's a pressing matter for them, but they're not fully relaxed like they were before. So the fact that they've moved into thicker ground, they've left the kill around here. Also, there isn't too much left of the kill. So there's clearly something that they're somewhat wary of. Doesn't present itself as a real threat just yet, but clearly something they want to have a closer look at. There's a cub coming to the mother. Rumpelstiltskin channel 11 and a half, I think I heard. That's how old they are, so they're quite senior for the lion world. Oh, you're coming back. I thought you were going down the drainage line. Still looking in very healthy condition, and it depends on lions. Normally the females will live until they're about maybe 12, 15 years of age, and the males between 10 and 12, depending on, you know, the pride takeovers and, you know, food resources and water and climate and so on. But normally I would say maybe 10 to 15 for the females. I wonder, I can't hear the lion roaring again, but she's clearly up to something. She seems to be smelling something now. Isn't that amazing? Just that, you know, we know we're there, but imagine how easily it would be to just drive past them and not see them. I think this is the time of the year where lions really, really have the upper hand, at least for all of us color-seeing creatures, because they can just hide so well. And there's clearly something in the air that she's sniffing, because every now and again she keeps popping her head up, and there's something there that she can definitely smell. I wonder if she's... Jaquil, you'd like to know how many cubs does a lioness normally have? So, in general cases, it's normally between 1 to 4. So, in this particular pride, we've got, if I'm not mistaken, one lioness that's got 4, and then another one that's got the 2 older ones that we see moving around. So, I think this lioness that we're seeing just in between the bushes over here is a bit of a tough thing, but I think she's contact calling. I don't know if it's us moving. The 2 older cubs that are just busy moving in front of us, she seems to be the mother of them. We're gonna see what these lions are up to, and we're just gonna let it play it out. And while we sit here patiently waiting for them, let's go back to Taylor and see how she's doing.
We are also trying to be patient at the moment. We are circling the area where I suspect that the elephants are going to pop out, but sadly no sign of them just yet though. Craig and I thought that we'd found them, but it turned out to just be some very shiny termite mounds that were just off into the thicket. So I don't know. We're going to go to Chelepans just up the way, so whether they've come through that side to have a morning drink, we'll have to just wait and find out. But otherwise they're not too far from us. They're in here, but it is still relatively thick along the drainage systems, which does make it quite difficult for us to spot things. But the rest of the bush is thinning out very nicely. It's quite exciting. Ah, yes. So there was a question earlier, and that question was, which animal do we think has the best childhood? Now, I know Ali said hippos, which is, I think, a great time. I would love to be splashing about. I'm going to say elephants, and the reason why I'm going to say elephants is because when you live in a big family group with the largest mammal on the land... Oh, hang on, grey-headed bushshrike, where are you? Where are you? There's a little grey-headed bushshrike that's just flown into the trees here. I don't want to stop. Oh, I think I can see. Hang on. Now I'm chuffing, hoping to try and entice this grey-headed bushshrike to come out. They are very, very secretive birds. That was my very poor attempt at doing a grey-headed bushshrike call. Not very good at that one. I think it's hopped away. And it's somewhere in there, but beautiful birds. They've got yellow on them, they've got a big grey head, and got green on their bodies. They're very pretty. I'm sorry, I got distracted. So what I wanted to say was, I think that it's elephants, because I think when you live in a big family like that, it must be really nice to have giants protecting you. There's very few things that will go on and challenge an elephant, barring man, of course. We seem to be the biggest threat to all the animals out here. And then when you live in a family, it means that you're going to have lots of siblings and cousins and things to play with. So I think elephants have a grand old time, especially little ones. And I think hippo is also a very, very good choice. They're sort of also quite lucky. There are very few things that would want to challenge an adult hippo. So again, and living in family groups, living in pods, they should have some other little hippos to play with too. And I think the parents a break too, will just mom a break, having to entertain them. I always feel sorry for a lioness or a leopard, a cub, and that could be.
Right, it seems like now they've decided to come and feed on the kill. How amazing is that? Weren't quite too sure of what she wanted to do, but in the time that we've been with Taylor, the one female, the one that we saw walking around, hiding behind the bushes, she's now dragged the rest of the carcass underneath the tree. And sometimes they do this for a couple of reasons. Well, it is starting to get quite warm. I am down to just 2 shirts and 1 jersey now. And so as the sun starts shining, then it's gonna make everything a lot hotter. So they also want to prevent the meat, or what's left of the kill, from rotting too quickly. I see the little ones are hearing that there's feeding going on, so they're all coming back. We can hear some growling from the female to the cubs. So yeah, so they will hide the kill just to, prevent the sun from rotting the meat too quickly, but also it's a good way if anything else comes around. The kill is hidden, it's harder to find it. From other lions, other maybe vultures flying around, spotting the kill and coming down and trying to mob them away. Hello, little one. Little ones. Some vehicles around, so I wonder. All of them coming back in. Oh, hello. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cubs here, and then just the 1 female. And it's funny because the tiny little cubs are still a bit scared, so they've gone to the sides of the kill where you can see those ones, just trying to get some of the meat, but the female is constantly growling at them, as if giving them a warning. Sorry, just hear another. Hello, little one. Looking quite pretty. All of them around here together. I think we've got somebody else that's come to join us in the sighting. all of them around here. Sorry guys, was just trying to give some sort of indication to Heli where he could park so that he could see them. I think they're all having a very good time feeding in there. She didn't really make it easy for all of them. She just dragged it in where the sun doesn't really shine. And now they're all in there. Look at all those tiny little heads popping up. I am very impressed with the older cubs. They're the ones that are feeding pretty much on their ribs, and I didn't think it was possible for them to put any more meat in their stomachs. Clearly I was wrong, because they're all fighting for the last scraps. When she picked it up, we could see that there wasn't too much in there. Not too much left. I think they're gonna carry on feeding around here. It seems to be all quite peaceful. So while they're happy having breakfast, let's go over to Brent and see if maybe we can tick off a new bird from our Mara list.
Well, here we go. We've got a tiny little raptor. Look at him, he's standing on one leg. Now, it looks to be either a common kestrel or a lesser kestrel. Now, I'm just trying to make doubly sure. I think it's going to be the common kestrel. In southern Africa, sometimes called a rock kestrel. This guy's just looking a little bit bedraggled at the moment. Now, the reason what I'm looking at for the difference between the common kestrel and the lesser kestrel is that it's a male as well, is the breast of the common kestrel or rock kestrel is a lot more streaky, and well, we can't really see it now. Oh, you can. It's definitely a common kestrel. Another ID feature is the wings, the outer wing feathers of a lesser kestrel are going to be grey, whereas these are that orangey with black spots. But there we go. Isn't that stunning? Now, I was actually looking for a bird that I was very excited to show everyone in this area, because we're literally right up on one of the crests in the sea of grass, as I like to call it. And as you can see, as Dave slowly zooms out, the reason I'm not standing up is I didn't want to give the bird a fright, because we are quite close to it, but is something that would definitely want to avoid the kestrel, and it's a rosy-throated longclaw. We've seen a yellow-throated longclaw, but we haven't managed to see a rosy-throated one yet, and I've seen them quite a few times in this area, so decided to have a look. And you can see why I call this area a sea of grass. It's grass, grass, grass for almost as far as the eye can see. Very few trees up here. I'm going to try to sneak a little bit closer to the kestrel. Hopefully he doesn't fly, and it is most definitely a he. Nancy says, wow, we have kestrels here in Northern California. Well, indeed, there are kestrel species throughout the world, and some of them will even migrate. But I'm not sure whether we get any of the kestrels from Northern California in Africa. Oh, he's being so nice. Hi, little man. Oh, isn't that wonderful? He hasn't moved at all. And we can get a much better view. Now, it's very uncommon to have a little raptor sit so nicely like this. It's so uncommon. I'm going to have to take a picture. There we go. Beautiful. That is so cool. Now, he's mostly an insectivore. So he'll hawk for insects above the grass. And that's one of the reasons these big open grasslands often have quite a few... Oh, off he goes. Has he spotted something? Whoop. Yes, he did. He was after a grasshopper, I think. I said that now, after insects 90% of the time. But unfortunately, I think... oh, look at him go. You catch that, ho-ho. Oh, no, not about to fly. Now, grasshoppers are one of their favorite foods. As well as many other insects. Unfortunately, there is a construction vehicle on its way towards us, so he might disappear. but we'll stick with him for as long as possible. I think he's about to take off. 1, 2, 3. There he goes. Okay, we're going to keep moving away from this beautiful little kestrel. In the meantime, we're going to go to Taylor with a big-eared antelope.
What a great bird to see. A common kestrel. That's very, very nice. I haven't seen a kestrel in a very long time. But this is a beautiful kudu. We actually came back to Treehouse Dam just to have a little look around here again. I just could not help myself. I kept thinking, maybe we will get lucky if we're patient enough. I'm trying to behave like Ali today. Ali's being very patient with the lions, and it's paying off. And it is such a beautiful dam down here. It's actually filled with all sorts of animals. And these were the antelope that we had earlier, but then they disappeared into the thicket, but they're coming back again. So that's very kind. So they get a second chance to redeem themselves. You're going down to have a drink, little girl. Now, I don't know where the rest of the kudu were, because there must have been about, I think, 8 or 9 that were around here. There was even a big kudu bull that had accompanied the family, and a tiny little one, probably only about 2 months old or so, that was bounding about. But she's all on her own now. I can't seem to see the rest. I can just starting to spot them. They're in the thicket somewhere. But how cool is that? Such a beautiful morning. It's always nice to watch the animals come down and drink. There you go, just licking your lips, licking your moustache. But very, very careful around the water's edge, especially because she's the only one having a drink. You see that, not staying for long, just a quick sip. You're going to drink from this corner, or you're going to go up the hill now? No, she's had enough. Ears constantly turning, surveying the area. And then I think I've just spotted the rest of them. They're just off into the distance on the left, so I think she'll make her way sort of back towards him. There's also some waterbuck around. You can see the big white rings just popping out of the corner. Hello? Are you watching us? You're not so certain about us. That young boy is not convinced. It actually looks like a bachelor herd from what I can see with the waterbuck. 1, 2, 3 youngsters of about a similar age. Probably just over a year old or so. And then there's another one that must be double their age. Or there are 2 of them. They're about double their age. Maybe about 2 or 3 years old. Oh my gosh, look at this little girl here. She's coming up towards us. This is interesting. Look how close we are to this kudu now. This is something that we don't get to see all the time, because as most of you know, antelope can be quite shy and sort of not as calm around the vehicles as the big cats are. Oh, that was a lovely little leap. Off she goes. You're going in the wrong direction. Where's your family back that way? Look how easily she just sort of leaps and bounds around. I'm always envious of how sort of delicate kudu are, and so athletic, all in the same breath. Beautiful girl. I think if I was a kudu, I'd be jumping all the time. I'd be showing everybody how high I can jump, leaping over the tallest trees. But she did get those young waterbuck a little bit riled up. They're not too sure why she went bounding about, so they've also got their ears pricked. They're starting to move around slightly. And I think, if anything, if I were to surround myself with either one of these antelope species, I think it would have to be the kudu. They just seem to have the most incredible senses and are always spotting things before they seem to be spotted, which is quite cool. We're going to do one more loop down towards Shibamo and check those pans and see if we can't pick up any more signs of shongile. Otherwise, we will find something else, hopefully. Ali's still sitting with the cats. I wonder if they're still feasting upon their meal.
Still feasting indeed. They seem to be having a blast. Just the one female feeding and all of the little cubs all over, just having a bit more of the meat. It is funny because every now and again the female has to, you know, set her foot down and just tell them who's the boss of the table, because they get a bit naughty, and I think they start feeding up where she wants to feed, so she'll growl at them and then they'll move out very quickly, and you see cubs scattering and coming outside, and then they go back inside and then start feeding again. Nice big stretch. I think they're all just too full, but they can't stop feeding. It's just, you know, it's almost like too good. That waterbug is too tasty. Look at that fat belly on the corner there. These are very happy little cubs. These females have done very well because they are looking very, very full. So I'm sure they'll be nice and happy throughout the day. Oh, I see another lion moving around, probably one of the other females that we saw earlier just coming around. So I'm sure she's eventually going to make her way to us, so no need to stress. She's just ahead where they were first lying down. Sorry, she just caught the corner of my eye, but I'm sure she's going to carry on moving this way. It's just that the grass is a bit long, so we can't really see them when they move around. Just every now and again we get a clear view of a head. Yeah. Right in front of us, in between these trees. I think maybe a bit. There she is. Come. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm just trying to figure out what she wants. I do believe that she's part of the pride, but she's just trying to see what's happening around here. So if you've got any questions or any comments that you'd like to ask, we love to hear from you. So just make sure you use the hashtag #SafariLive and we'll be very happy to just help you out or answer any questions or get any comments from you guys. Although I hope you guys are just as mesmerized as I am just watching this little cubs feeding. Craftword, you want to know how often they drink in a day. Well, pretty sure that they've gotten some moisture from the blood that they ate, but very likely as it gets very hot, either sometime this morning or later on this afternoon once it cooled down, they will definitely head off to, there's the, well, Chitwa Dam is not too far from here, but if they find water at any other place that's just a bit closer, I'm sure that's where they'll go drink. Normally lions have to drink daily, so they won't venture too far away from water. Pretty little things. All moving around in there. Oh, hello. Big cub coming to join. Look how big his belly is. He's filling up the whole screen. Okay, somebody got a bit of a fright. He wasn't too close to the lions. Unfortunately, I think it was just a branch that made a funny noise that gave her a bit of a fright. But you see, just very, very quickly to react, which is always a good thing. It means that they're always alert, even when you think that they're doing something else. They're always out and about paying attention. But now that everything's gone, you know, they're like a swarm of ants, all of them going back together to the kill. And I think this is going to give the little cubs a good chance of trying to reposition and maybe getting to the spot where the female was lying down that seemed to have a bit more meat. So I think all in all it worked in their favor. Hello girl. See the little cub at the back fiercely eating and just trying to grab the last pieces of meat that are attached to the rib cage. I'm sure she's not too impressed at the fact that the cubs, you know, have now stolen her spot and maybe she's looking around. She does look quite regal looking like that, doesn't she? We might have another lioness quickly joining the meal. She's just gonna come into our field of view very soon. There she goes. Are you also gonna have a bit of a bite? Let's just hear this. He's growling.
What was the bamba? What is the bamba?
This is such an amazing sighting. I love it. Normally, when lions, and especially when the other female came around, the female that was already feeding, she started growling and just letting her know that, you know, she's not too happy with her feeding around. And there was quite a lot of tension, and you can hear all the cubs, you know, just making their funny little noises just because they're also in between. So they want to carry on feeding, but they know that there's some tension going on. Instead, yes, they are fighting for the last bits. There isn't too much left. I think just you know, just a little bit of meat still attached to the ribcage that we can see, and maybe odd pieces here and there, but there isn't much left at all. I don't think, you know, I'm pretty sure by this afternoon they would have finished it off and there won't be much left. So as the food starts getting less and less and less, and obviously they start fighting for the scraps and everything that's there, and that's why that female was growling at the other one and all of the cubs, because she also wants to eat, so she wants to make sure that she doesn't eat more. I think right now that female is just having a bit of a, you know, dominance contest, if I can put it that way. There's a little cub that just ran away with the tail. She's holding onto the kill. I don't think she's feeding. She's just pretty much letting it known that that is her spot, her kill, and she's going to finish that last bit. Now, the dominance between lions is very, very strong, and they're always ready to just let each other know who's actually in charge, especially when it comes to a meal. Still lots of growling going on. Nancy, it's getting hot. Definitely have started to take off some of the jerseys that I put on this morning, and during the day we have a wonderful temperature. It's normally enough for us to have short sleeves and go around in shorts, but early morning, late afternoon, when the sun is still not shining and it's not up and bright, it is very, very, very cold. This morning I think it was 12 degrees and 54 Fahrenheit, so it was quite chilly for all of us, especially with the wind. But I think it's, as you can see, all of the lions are underneath the shade, so it's not the best visual for them, but they're in there precisely because it's not as hot as how it is out here where there's absolutely no shade. There's the growling again, and even the little ones are growling now. All those lion heads in there.
Probably better for exposure to do that.
Wonderful.
Because the grass is bright. And also some of those whitish branches.
There's a little cub that's walking around with a piece of skin. I think you can see it there too. He's just busy eating it. Yep, that's the one. And every now and again I'm sure he feels like a real tough big lion because he will walk around with this piece of hair in his mouth. You see, and even the little ones like sharing. That is my toy. I'm playing with it now. Rawr. Very interesting part of the social relations between lions. They have such incredible bonds with each other, and they will fight for each other and just look after each other, but when it comes to the dinner table, then it doesn't really matter. Then everybody's just got to fight for their own. He is moving around. Guys, we're gonna give some space to other vehicles that want to come and have a look. I think we've had a fantastic sighting with these lions this morning, and we're very, very happy to see them. And while we try to make our way out of here, let's go to Taylor and see how her search for the cubs is going. Hopefully she'll get there.
Well, we don't seem to be having too much luck at the moment. We've just turned onto Rebecca's road actually. We haven't driven this one this morning, so I thought we would just come and check it just in case, and drive around here, have a little look around and see what else we can find. Maybe some birds, maybe some dwarf mongoose will be out sunning themselves. There's plenty of termite mounds around in this particular area for mongoose to live in, so maybe we'll see some of those. But it's been, on my side, well, Craig and our side, it's been particularly quiet, I suppose. I wish we got to spend some more time with those elephants. I wish they'd hung around for a little bit longer, but they didn't. They left us, but I'm sure that they'll be here for this afternoon safari. Again, we went around and we did another loop, and I couldn't even hear them feeding, so they must be really well into the thicket. But this is also a good area for elephants. There's another big drainage line just down below us, so there could be some around here. Actually, let's have a look and check for tracks, because I don't think, it doesn't look like anybody has actually driven on this road at all this morning. Who knows, maybe we come around the corner and then Djuma Pride will be here. Wouldn't that be a nice surprise? Well, there was a lion that was walking here, one of the 77,000 other roads that they also walked on. Look at this. I don't know how they've done it. They are absolute machines, these big cats. So I don't know how many Birminghams we actually had on the property, because we've had tracks coming from almost every single direction. As you can see here, there's a huge lion, male lion track. This one over here. If I put my hand on top of it, it's basically the same size. Look at that. Massive. But from this morning, but just one male lion track, so perhaps we heard quite a chorus going on last night. They obviously all came together at one point and then split off and went into opposite directions. But other than that, that's all that seems to be on this road. Okay, so let's carry on and see what's around the next corner. Silly lions making us chase after you for the entire morning. If only they knew the amount of effort we put into trying to find them, maybe that they would decide to show themselves more often. Hard work. I think we put more effort into trying to find these lions than Djuma's put in effort trying to catch a buffalo. Hey, Craig? Don't you think? I think we work very, very hard. No mongoose here. This looked like it could have been a good mound for mongoose. It's like a palace. I'm going to go forward. It's actually a very nice looking mound. Look at that. Little chimneys. And just off to the left, that would be a nice spot to sit up top there and get all the beautiful warm sun rays. But it is not occupied. I didn't even see any feces from the mongoose on the opposite side either, so there's definitely no one living here. Let's keep going. I've got all the Lion King songs stuck in my head this morning for some bizarre reason. Although since yesterday afternoon. Yesterday afternoon I was singing the morning report, which was a bizarre time. I should be singing the morning report song now, which I'm not going to do, in case you were wondering. Who's there? Check over here. Come on, Craig, what are we going to see next? We need to find something. Now, HA, you're wondering if I have another riddle for you. Let me see if I can think of one. I have to now dig. I've now forgotten them. I learned about 10 different riddles, but do you think that I can remember any of them? No? Ridiculous. Memory is horrible. I'm going to have to start taking more omega-3 and 6 supplements. Maybe that will help with my memory slightly. I'll give that a bash. And we're still following this male lion track. So no, I can't think of a riddle just yet, but I'll have one for the afternoon most certainly. I think we'll have a riddle and we'll have a quiz a little bit later too. I'm going to bring something else out on game drive with me and hopefully we can have a look at. Okay, I think let's go back up this way because we've driven here. Now this is a good question. It's a tricky one and it's from Prosper, and what you're wondering, what is the most intelligent animal out here? It really is a difficult one to answer, because if you look at hyenas, for example, honey badgers, they're exceptional when it comes to problem solving. But then you look at something like an elephant, which is also so intelligent. I don't even know how to describe their intelligence, and we see it straight away just by sitting and watching elephants, that they are far superior to, for instance, something like a buffalo. So it's a difficult one, but I would say between the honey badgers, between the hyenas, and between the elephants, I think that they've got particularly large craniums. What am I speaking? I'm making up words today, Craig. Why you need to get Gwari Bush and whack me on the head? I cannot speak. I don't know if I'm still a little bit frozen. But yes, I think I would go with those three animals as to be some of the elephants, some of the more intelligent ones out here. But elephants are my favorite, and I just think that they are so wonderful. So I'm quite biased. But I wonder what Ali actually thinks about that. So we must ask her that question too when we go back to her. There's not much in terms of fresh elephant evidence. Let me get all those twists out there. They've definitely been walking on this road, but not anytime soon, probably from a couple of weeks ago. Their dung is quite dry, lots of old branches on the road, and then just more lion tracks going that way, going up and down. I would love to have been a tick on one of those lions and just sort of seen the areas that they traveled last night. Quite amazing. And still no word, haven't really heard from anybody if they found the nkuhumas. So maybe they snuck out of Simbambili, those bizarre tracks that we saw coming quite close to the gate. Like I said, I think they did a loop-in and then went back out. Maybe they've gone straight into the Manuleti to try and pick up on the buffalo, the herd that was around there. Okay, we'll also do a quick loop around quarantine and see if the wildebeest herd have reunited, or if it's just those four that were wandering around. But let's go across to Ali now and see who she thinks is the most intelligent animal in the bush.
The most intelligent animal of the bush. That is a tough one, but I have to say that for me, first prize is between honey badgers and hyenas. I have seen them do some very, very incredible things. Sometimes they manage to get into places or open bins and then get to the food, or open doors that I have no idea how they figure it out. I think they are just such clever creatures. Yeah, honey badgers are just very naughty, and I think they have that, almost like that malice to them, but not because they're mean, but because, you know, just because they can. They do stuff because, well, you think a closed bin is going to prevent me from getting into the food. Let me show you. And then, you know, they get into stuff and break it. I'm sure you've all heard, or if you haven't, of Stoffel, the Great Escapist, a honey badger that there's no way of getting him in there. And then I'm pretty sure hyenas are also just as, because I've seen them to doors and gates and then just get into wherever they are. It seems like we're going through a bit of a rough signal patch, but just in case I don't see you guys again, it was lovely to have you all here today, and we'll see you for the Sunset Safari. And let's go back to Taylor and see if maybe she's got one final riddle for all of us.
I wish I did. The only thing that I've got for you is some tracks, these tiny little tracks actually just along the edge of the road. Can you see them here, Craig? Let me try and point them out. There they are. These tiny little ones that you can see just on the ground. That is from a civet. I wonder if it's not the same one that Tristan managed to spot last night on his way home. So there we go, some evidence of some more nocturnal creatures that were moving around here last night. We'll definitely start keeping an eye out for that civet, because there are creatures of habit, so maybe we spot it maybe this evening. Now, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for you, but I hope that you have enjoyed another sunrise safari filled with lions, which is a good safari, I think, elephants and all sorts of other goodies, interesting birds from Brent, but from all of us here, of course, at the Wild Earth team, we wish you well and thank you for all of your questions and all of your support, and we hope to see you all this afternoon on the Sunset Safari.